Hey, what's up mortals, Tim here. And before we get into today's video, there's something I want to say. I want to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 300 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this What If. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you guys, that's right, 41.3% are subscribed to us. So please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Izuku and Gran Torino were riding on a train to Shinjuku City. Gran Torino explained how the more populated areas would tend to also have more crime widespread. At the rate we're going, we'll probably make it there by night, Izuku stated. Gran Torino nodded. Indeed. It's actually pretty beneficial to your development. After all, crime is more frequent at night, Gran Torino explained. Izuku couldn't wait to do some patrolling with the older hero, but his spider sense went off. He realized suddenly that something was wrong. He looked up to see a Nomu claw open the roof of the train. Gran Torino immediately jumped into action, kicking the Nomu in the face. Izuku wanted to help, but Torino commanded him to not interfere. He wanted him to stay put, but this was Izuku. Gran Torino tackled the Nomu out of the train, which left Izuku concerned about his safety. He knew that Gran Torino was strong, but if the one that Torino was facing had a strength level even half of the one at the USJ, there was a good chance the hero would at least have a very tough time facing up against this Nomu. Izuku exited the train, only to see Hosu City on fire. I have some bad vibes about there, Venom commented. You and me both, Izuku said. Despite his better judgment and Venom's mentioning of it being a bad idea, Izuku went to investigate what was happening in Hosu City. He was curious and concerned for Ida's safety as well. He knew that Ida was interning at this specific city after all. He could only imagine the mass devastation there. Once Izuku had arrived at Hosu, he noticed how a couple of the pro heroes were fighting even more Nomu-like creatures. They weren't like the ones back at the USJ. They didn't appear to be too smart. They were seemingly running around like mindless zombies. Well, they pretty much were, but they were far more dangerous. He looked around, but for some reason, Izuku couldn't spot Ida anywhere near the heroes. It was pretty odd at first, until Venom suggested an idea. Ida's brother, Ingenium, was the name. Was left crippled by the hero killer Stain in this city, and all of a sudden, Ida started acting a bit different. Then, he chose to do his internship here with the pro hero Manual, when he had several other options that were more appropriate with his quirk and fighting style. Yet, he went with Manual. I find that to be more than just a coincidence. Hearing this caused Izuku's eyes to widen in realization. Oh no. Izuku quickly left the battlefield in order to find Ida. He knew exactly what Ida was trying to do. Izuku managed to find Ida right when Stain was about to finish him off. Before Izuku could even think of something to do, Venom took over one of Izuku's arms and shot a couple of webs at Stain's face. It wasn't something Stain expected, but he was able to get out of the way just in time. What's this? Stain wondered. Leave him alone! Izuku yelled. Oh, is he a friend of yours? If so, you must be another one of those fake heroes. Stain lunged at Izuku with his blades in hand, but Venom took over, creating sides in place of their arms, which he used in order to block Stain's attack. Oh, is it a shape-shifting quirk I see? I'll admit, I haven't encountered too many of your kind, but it makes no difference. Stain threw himself off of the symbiote and host duo and threw a couple of knives at them. Several tendrils sprouted off of Izuku and Venom and captured the weapons before they could get too close. Without thinking, Izuku threw the knives right back at Stain, who was able to dodge most of them, but one knife managed to get him in the knee. Stain growled in pain before pulling out the knife. Izuku watched as Stain tried to launch another attack at him. This time, though, Izuku counterattacked. He swung one of the sides at Stain. The hero killer attempted to dodge the attack, but he failed to take into account the tendrils which Izuku used to drag Stain back down, slamming the villain into the ground. Stain gasped in pain. "Who is this brat?" Stain muttered. Stain brought himself back just in time to dodge another attack from Izuku. Izuku shapeshifted the scythe into a set of claws and tried to slash at Stain. "Izuku, don't give him the opportunity to strike. If you let him catch you off guard and he manages to make you shed even the tiniest ounce of blood, he can leave you paralyzed," Ida reported. Ida cursed himself for being so useless, especially since this was his fight. His fight to avenge his older brother for what Stain did to him. Izuku became distracted hearing Ida's voice, which left him wide open for an attack by the hero killer. "Finally!" Stain yelled. He lunged at Izuku once more, sweeping his legs from underneath him. He went on to try stabbing Izuku with both katanas in hand. Ida screamed when he saw Stain's attempt at murdering his friend right before his eyes, until a wave of glacier-sized ice rushed at the villain. Stain jumped out of the way before the ice could hit him, though. "Another one!" Stain growled in frustration. It was 2-on-1 now. It didn't help that the one clad in black was especially difficult. He had so many abilities that made him an extremely difficult opponent to fight against. If it weren't for his speed, he'd have been defeated a long time ago. Now, Stain was at a serious disadvantage. "Izuku, you know I almost didn't make it in time. Be more specific with your location next time," Todoroki stated. Ida saw both Izuku and Todoroki were tackling the hero killer now. It frustrated him beyond means as he still couldn't move. He saw that the two of them were able to go hand to hand with Stain. Izuku shot some webbing at Stain's face, which momentarily distracted the hero killer. Izuku used this distraction to punch Stain right in the face, rattling the villain with the force of the blow. Todoroki tried to freeze the hero killer's legs before they had a chance to gain back their senses, but he managed to break out of the ice while it was still thin. Stain wasn't given any chance to breathe after that. He had to face an onslaught of attacks from the pair. Some attacks he was able to evade, but those attacks were followed up by another, more ferocious attack that he could at best block. He ended up suffering several broken bones and cuts throughout the course of the battle. He could tell that they were trying to subdue him, not necessarily end him. He would have been finished a long time ago. He was really struggling to keep up with his opponents here. He threw a dagger at the two-tone boy, which managed to cut his cheek. Right when he thought he found an opening, though, he was slammed into the wall, which seemingly knocked him unconscious. Izuku and Todoroki were breathing heavily. They failed to notice the broken vial with a strange liquid inside. This liquid began to cover Stain. When Izuku finally noticed, it was too late. Before we get back into the story, I want to let you all know that we have a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. If you're interested in content like that, please go check the description below or click the icon in the top right corner. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. Another symbiote? Izuku questioned. Probably another one from the lab, Venom assumed. The lab? You mean the place you mentioned that experimented on you? Yeah. They ended up producing a couple of artificial spawns from my DNA. Looks like that's one of them. Needless to say, Izuku was shocked to hear such a revelation. He saw that symbiote back at the USJ, but he didn't know the exact reason for why they existed. For all he knew, it was just another naturally born symbiote of Venom's race. Izuku, please, allow me to take primary control for this fight. I can tell that this one is different from the last one, more dangerous, and less stable. When Izuku heard this, he agreed with Venom. Stain was already fast and strong, but he couldn't imagine how much more powerful Stain was now with this symbiote in hand. That and the thought of Stain being even less mentally sound was a terrifying thought. Venom was more suited for this situation. Before Izuku even knew it though, a blur passed by them clawing at him in the process. He felt something leave him inside. He was confused at first, until he and Venom saw Stain covered in a red and yellow looking symbiote with long hair. They had fangs and long claws as well. What the two noticed in particular, though, was something in their adversary's hand. Something the size of someone's palm that looked similar to a ball of slime began to merge with Stain's symbiote. It was white at first, but while in the merge, it became black. "Oh no! The baby survived and fused with them!" Venom realized. Todoroki looked at Venom in confusion for a second, but shook his head. He wasn't going to focus on that now. He'd ask Izuku what he meant by that statement later. That and why he sounded so different all of a sudden. Venom and Todoroki gave all their attention to Stain and switched to more defensive stances. "We are Scream!" The now dubbed Scream charged at Todoroki and Venom. Todoroki reflected back to the sports festival. He saw how Izuku reacted to fire, and this guy appeared to have gained a similar quirk to Izuku's somehow. He launched a ray of fire at Scream, but they were able to leap out of the way. Venom ran after them and grabbed the monstrosity by the arm. He yanked him down to the ground, but Scream did a backflip, kicking Venom in the jaw. Todoroki created a large wave of ice, forcing Scream to move out of the way, jumping into midair. Todoroki used this to his advantage, though by shooting fire at Scream once more. This time it connected. Scream growled, and it looked like they were struggling to stay with their host. They were momentarily immobilized, and Venom refused to let the opportunity pass. He created two scythes and slashed at Scream. The other symbiote yelled in pain before Venom sucker punched them. Scream pulled out Stain's weapons and began to cover them, incorporating them into the symbiote's body. "Prepare to die!" Scream started making indistinguishable noises for a couple of seconds, and soon produced a symbiote-enhanced katana to slash at Venom. It cut through Venom's body and Izuku's hero suit, making it all the way to his skin. A large gash opened up in Izuku's body after the attack. Izuku winced in pain, but Venom quickly went to heal his host before things got worse. Venom saw Scream about to lick Izuku's blood, but stopped him by firing a web at Scream's arm and pulled them close while Todoroki grabbed the other arm and set fire to it. Scream let out a gut-wrenching scream, and Todoroki saw the villain's covering begin to draw back. Todoroki tried to increase the heat, but Scream headbutted Todoroki and used their hair-like tendrils to wrap around Todoroki's neck. They started choking Todoroki, but Venom swung a kick at Scream's torso. "Time to test something new out." Venom breathed and began to focus his energy. "What are you doing, Venom?" "Remember how I was able to bond with All Might for a little while?" "Yeah? What about it?" "Simply put, I have this one interesting ability where I can take on certain attributes from previous hosts and adapt it. Even after I leave that host and move on to another, the new host can have access to the attributes I gained and adapted on. You could say I have a genetic memory of sorts." "Wait, so you're saying what I think you're saying?" "That's right. I was able to create a version of All Might's quirk. I couldn't copy the exact quirk, though. There's something weird with his quirk, but I was able to augment it to something that would be pretty beneficial." "What is it?" "A sort of energy manipulation, actually. I found some sort of ability that allowed All Might to make black whips of energy. That and something with stockpiling energy or strength. It's not super strong yet, though. If we get through this, we're gonna need a lot of chocolate." Venom blocked an attack from Scream and grabbed their hair before swinging them around. Venom threw Scream into a wall, but Scream bounced back immediately. Venom supercharged his body with the energy quickly before Scream could send out another attack. His strength and speed seemed to increase tenfold in that moment as Venom grabbed Scream's neck and flung him down to the ground. Venom grabbed Scream's arms and put his foot on his foe's back. He pulled on their arms until the sound of breaking bones was heard. Scream tried to get back up, but he couldn't. He collapsed and retreated into Stain. Venom collapsed on top of the unconscious Stain and retreated as well. Ida saw everything, and at that moment, he was finally able to move again. Whatever that thing was that possessed Stain earlier, seemed to have finally been vanquished, but not by him. He felt so useless here. The whole time he couldn't move. It was as if Stain's quirk was amplified on top of his physical abilities. He and Todoroki went to help Izuku stand, since it appeared that Izuku couldn't without any support. My body, it's all numb, Izuku cried. The group was too focused on Izuku to notice the pair of symbiotes leave Stain's body. The symbiotes were able to make it to the outer streets, where they attached themselves to a flying Nomu, who flew to the rooftops above. The Nomu landed on one specific rooftop though, one that held Tomura Shigaraki and Kurogiri. The symbiotes removed themselves from the Nomu and slipped down.
Oh, and what do we have here? A new symbiote that I don't recognize. Is it possible that this is a natural-born offspring? It's like picking up some rare treasure in a video game. Just my luck, too. I think I'll make you my very own,
Shigaraki stated. Shigaraki stretched his hand out to the new symbiote, but something strange happened. Rather than cover Shigaraki's body, it found one of Shigaraki's unhealed wounds and entered. Tomura hissed in pain for a second, but realized something. The symbiote had entered his bloodstream. You and I will make great partners. We both want one thing at the end of the day. And you want to know what that is? It's carnage. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few more things I want to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank the writer of this video as well as the editors for this video. Their details will be in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those departments. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you like this video. Until next time, peace out, mortals. Y'all have an amazing day.